Oh my God. I'm back. The Vlogger Man is back. I have had the most stressful 3 to maybe even 5 months of my life, maybe even 9 months of my life. I live in America now. The podcast's in America now. Everything is in America now. Crazy idea about halfway through last year where I was like, I might just move to America. And then I was like, yeah, that would be fun. Let me do that. I'm sure it can't be that hard. And let me tell you, it's one of the hardest things you can do. Why Nashville? Multitude of reasons. For our sort of industry, there's basically 3 places in the States that you can go for opportunities. You got New York, you got LA, you got Nashville. Simple, can't afford New York, can't afford LA, can barely afford Nashville. Also, Stray has always been HQ'd at Nashville. I already have a drum kit here. There's a lot less stuff that I had to bring. My Euro stream setup, drum stuff, all went to our German practice space. So that stuff now gets used on tour when we're in Europe. And now my stuff that's in America is just my home stuff. Also, being in the States business-wise is so good for me being able to nip down to Zildjian in Boston, me having some sort of meeting about merch, podcast guests, all of that stuff. So it was a business move, mainly a business move, a little bit of personal, quite a lot of personal, whatever, guys. Just come with me, come on the journey. It's been so difficult and there's been so many setbacks that I just haven't been vlogging because honestly, like I meant to vlog the whole thing, but there have been moments where I was just close to giving up. Like it was really, really, really difficult. And I made the stupid decision of going straight off the live podcast tour, which was in December last year. And the choices were like either go old home, and then come back to the States or just go. So I got everything sent, packed up at my house in the UK, packed it up in November, shipped it off, went on the podcast tour, and then I came straight to Nashville. Now, there was a lot of things that I had to do. The most insane amount of stuff that I had to do to make this work. Firstly, most important, I had to get an appropriate visa. So I already had what they call an O1 visa for the States, which is a 3-year visa, work visa. When you sign up to the O1 visa, there are stipulations you can only use it for X, Y, and Z. Now, if I'm moving my entire life to the States, I had to get a new visa. Very expensive, very time consuming. We got it done. I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Tess at 5B Artist Management. She was absolutely integral in helping me get this visa sorted. Amazing. Like, wouldn't have been able to do it without her, so I just wanted to do a little public shout out for her. What a legend. I had to move everything out of my house and studio in the UK and ship a lot of it here, put a lot in storage, sell a lot of it. I shipped out my personal effects and podcast stuff on November 26, 2024. Here we are in April, and it actually all just arrived at the end of March. So I haven't been able to work really. I've been getting stuff like this studio, the podcast set up. Podcast's coming very soon in this lovely new studio. Could get all that stuff set up, but I didn't actually have any of the equipment. It took 5-6 weeks to get the equipment here. Even more, I think. That's months, actually, isn't it? That's like 4 months. It took 4 months to get everything here, which very annoying, very stressful. Nothing got broken. One thing got broken, which was someone made me a nice display thing for my Lars Ulrich drumsticks. It got broken. If you're watching this, mate, can I have another one, please? So the visa gets approved, and I have to find a place to live here. So I'm still in the UK at this point. Nowhere will rent me an apartment without credit history. So I had to hit up private landlords and just be like, hey, I had this copy and paste spiel of like, hey, I'm here for work. I'm going to be here minimum of 3 years, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Please give me a chance. Like, I'll pay some stuff up front. Luckily, I had this lady come back and she was like, okay, just flat out okay. And I was like, are you sure? Like, this seems a bit easy. This was after maybe like 3 weeks of searching. And she was like, oh, my husband's British. Like, we like your style. I had a little look on your YouTube, like, blah, blah, blah. It was like maybe one of the only times in my life where, like, looking rich. Like, I'm not rich, but I've got a blue check mark on Instagram and all that stuff. Looking rich helped me, because normally if I go through Instagram to get like a fucking boiler fixed or something, then everyone's like, this guy's got loads of money, he's got a blue check mark, so we're going to charge him X amount. In this case, it worked, because they were like, we can see you're good for the money, here you come. Side note, it's really expensive to rent in Nashville. But we got that done. Had to open a US bank account so that I could pay my landlord and live here. Usually very difficult to do. Here's a little tip. Some of this video will be boring, but it will be good tips if anyone wants to do something like this. If you're with an international bank, a lot of the time you can phone them and get them to open you up an account before you even get to that country. Now, they did that for me. My bank did that for me, so that was super easy. The next thing I had to do was get a social security number so I could start building credit and all that stuff, and my tax, move all my tax over here, all that annoying stuff. You have to go in to the social security place. I was on a podcast tour. I had to go, I think I went in Cleveland or so. I went in somewhere crazy, signed up for that. Wait for the social security number. While I'm waiting for the social security number, I can't set up my water bills or my electric bills. So I had to get friends to put my bills in their name for until I could get here and get my social security number. Speaking of friends, I also have to shout out Tom Williams, Amani, Fred, so many people that actually I had them go to look at these apartments for me on FaceTime, and I just said yes to one on FaceTime. I think it was one that Fred was looking at. So big thanks to them. That's another reason why Nashville was one of the places that I wanted to go, because I've got so many friends here. Didn't really have many friends in Glasgow, if I'm honest with you. I had a few, but not loads. Get a credit card. Had to get a credit card over here. Now, this is an amazing little tip. If anyone wants to move country, the number one thing you can do before you move country is get an American Express in the country that you live in. Because American Express have this cool thing where if you move country, they will open you up an account in that country based on your credit history in your country. They're like the only company that can do it. And it was a complete accident that I found it, but it means you can move to a new country, you can automatically start building credit. Because, as you'll now see, I had to buy a car. I had to sell my car in the UK. I couldn't ship it over. Money, illegal, whatever. Had to buy a car. Can't afford to buy a car. Can't get a car on finance because I don't have a credit history. I have to retake my driving test because we're in Tennessee, and if you come from out of Tennessee, you need to resit your driver's test. Particularly, I'm not used to driving on this side of the road. I wasn't. So I got my learner's permits, 38, learner's permit. I'm 38, I've got a learner's permit ID. I managed to get a car company to finance me a car based on having the social security number and having some American Express credit histories. But I've just been waiting for 2-3 months while my credit builds, even to a point where someone will give me the worst possible car deal ever because I do have a credit history. But before, when I got here, I had nothing. I had no car. I was renting cars because there's a weird loophole where you can rent cars. But if you live here, you have to have, and you can rent cars on a foreign license, but if you buy a car here, it has to be on a Tennessee license, whatever. Anyway, all this stuff takes days and days and days. All while I'm trying to work. I had to get a drum room. I found a drum room. I had stages for this. The podcast had to come first because I make most of my living from the podcast and the merch. Anyone that is on the Patreon, buys the t-shirt, any of that stuff, you've actually funded all of this. And I've already recorded 3 episodes. I'm so excited with how this looks, how sick it's going to be, the new caliber of guests. Everything is awesome. This room is now sorted. I've rented a drum room. My drums are in there. I now have to turn that into a stream room. This is all I'm at the end of the tunnel, guys, but this is 3 months of crazy, crazy work. Even changing your PayPal to the USA, opening, moving your business, doing all your tax stuff, all of that stuff has been an absolute nightmare. So my order of doing stuff is podcast, get that sorted. That's now sorted. We've started recording episodes. Everything is sick. Number 2, do the drum room for streams, Instagram content, being able to play the drums and all that stuff. It's rented. It's painted black. I've just got to put the cameras in there. Now they've arrived. Make it sound good. Get Nolly to do stuff. PreSonus, Audix, Camera. Got to shout those three out. They are the three companies I use anyway. I hit them all up like slyly, like, hey, I'm doing this massive move. Please help me. And they came through. I can't wait to build that. That studio's happening. There will be a separate vlog for building that studio, because now my days aren't absolutely painting rooms and doing podcast stuff and business stuff. I've got a little bit of free time to start moving on with everything else. So drum room's next. So drum streams will be coming back. There is ripping internet in there. By the time you see this, I might be halfway there, but I'm going to start vlogging it. And then a stream room at home. Now, for reaction streams and all that stuff. But there's been an issue, is that it's very expensive to live here. Everything's expensive. Food, accommodation, everything. So this is a studio that I rent for the podcast. The drum room is a studio that I rent for the drums. And then I rent my apartment. Whereas back in the UK, I was lucky enough to have an apartment that I could do the podcast in that cost a lot less for a lot more space. So while I'm very confident the ability to make money here will be better once everything's up and running, podcast guests, drum work, maybe I'm in Nashville, like who knows. My outgoings are absolutely unbelievable. But I don't really care. I did this before. I don't know if anyone's been with me since day one. When we did the stream room in the first place, I took out a credit card for 10 grand and I spunked it all on camera stuff, and it did pay off. So this is my next big risk take, which is like my outgoings are through the roof, but the opportunity is there for this to become something really, really, really big and fun. I'm really enjoying it. So I am loving it. It's a bit of a culture shock, but I've been touring in the States for like 8 years. I am loving it. Like, it feels like America, you're crazy. It feels like I'm constantly in a theme park. Like, everything is so alien and weird, and I low-key love it. So that's been quite fun. One thing though, tornadoes are actually having the impact on my life that when I was a kid I assumed they would have. Sort of every day, every other day, we need to take refuge in the bathroom because there's a tornado warning. Phone alarm goes off. In fact, Madison's alarm goes off, mine doesn't, so I will just perish. And then we sit in the bath, and last time it happened I was like, there's no way I'm not doing this without a margarita. So I bought this for the tornado. And we just sort of wait here and we look at YouTube, watch the storm chasers on YouTube until it's time to go to bed or leave the bathroom. Got a helmet there, Madison's helmet. I mean, this is Enoch. Madison's helmet there. In case it goes mental, she'll put the helmet on and I'll probably just die, but...
Ideally not, though.
Ideally not. But it will be your fault for hogging the helmet. You know when you're like 5 or 6, you're just like terrified, like tornadoes are a thing. God, I'm going to have to deal with those at some point. Then I went most of my life never having to deal with it. Now, so you get 2 alerts on your phone, tornado watch and tornado warning. Tornado watch is we have all the ingredients to make tacos. And then tornado warning is we are having tacos right now. So this week there's been 3 tornado warnings, like there is about to be a tornado. So we've got nothing to do, we just sit in the bath. So that's it. That's the update. Everything is moving. I can't thank you enough for sticking with me during this. I have big plans of getting everything not only back where it was, but further than that. With drums, with streaming, with the podcast, with the merch, everything. Just on a little adventure. Thanks for coming with me. And now I'll be honest with you, I've had mentally the most stressful 6 months of my life, definitely, probably 9 months, to the point where I just didn't feel like putting a camera in front of me because I was just downtrodden constantly by like, why the fuck have I done this? What the fuck am I doing? And now I'm coming out the other end of it and I'm pretty stoked. So thanks for being here. Thanks to everyone that was on the Patreon. Thanks to anyone that bought a t-shirt or whatever, because I literally just wouldn't have been able to do this. So stay tuned. Vloggerman is back. Stray's going on tour most of the summer. I'm going to vlog that. I promise I'm going to vlog that. What else? I've got other stuff. Drum room's coming. We'll do a studio build, partly because I want to and partly because all of these companies that sent me free stuff requested it. But I will tell you that I only asked the companies that I want for free stuff to give me free stuff. It wasn't like, just give me whatever. It was like, hey, I like your stuff. Please, can I have it for free? I don't have any money and I'll just tell everyone how good it is. So that'll be happening. 2025 is the year that I want the little play button. If you want me to carry on doing this, please hit subscribe. I love you. Goodbye.